Hey everyone, and welcome to day 5 of How to Write a Song in 5 Days. Now, for some of you who thought that we were actually going to finish the song in 5 days, this is going to be a little bit disappointing, because day 5 is really just phase 5. Days 1 through 4, you can legitimately do, although you don't have to do, you can legitimately do all of them within that 4-day span, literally. Day 5, I never recommend finishing your song completely on day 5 for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's good to let your music and your words sit for a little bit and then come back to them later and see if they still have the same amount of excitement around them. Professional writers recommend that you do that too with manuscripts that you've written. Let them sit for a couple of weeks, forget about them, then come back to them, read them over, see if it makes you as excited as you were the first time when you wrote it, and then you know that you've got something. So that's one of the major reasons why I don't recommend going ahead and just calling your song done on day 5, though there are some things that you can do on day 5 to get it much closer. Day 5, or phase 5, is my honing time, so it's where I go over my song and I evaluate it for everything that seems a little weak, a little out of place, something that doesn't quite fit, something that's messing with my rhythm, not giving me the feel that I want. I'll just go through and pick it apart and say, okay, I need this line, and this line to be beefed up a little bit, strengthened a little bit. And so I'll rack my brain for ways that I can fix that, and I'll plug some different stuff in, see if I like it better, those kinds of things. So really, this part is where your creative process is really going to shine through and differentiate you from the next songwriter, because everybody's going to have their own process for how they make their song better. But what I was saying in day 3, I believe, when I was talking about structure, don't let this be the time, day 5, the phase 5, be the time when you're trying to piece your song together still. Go ahead on day 3, put it all together in some kind of form, even if it's weak, and then use your day 5, phase 5, as a way to strengthen those weak parts that you added in, because it's going to give you a much better idea of what your song's going to sound like and look like whenever it's completely done. And so then on day 5, you can just focus completely on fixing the song rather than building it still from the ground up. And it's a lot easier to go back and say, ooh, this line's kind of weak. What else could I rhyme there? And have something to default to than it is to come up with something right out of the blue from scratch that's really good and really strong. So give yourself something to work with. Go ahead and plug those pieces in early in the process, and then when you get to day 5, you can really literally hone it up. Now, also, day 5 is where I go through, still evaluating, but I go through and I make sure that there's not something I need to add to the song. For instance, this song, I feel like it needs a tag, or a bridge, I guess would be the better way to say that, after the last chorus to link it to the next chorus. The reason being, this song is very allegorical, and because it's allegorical, it needs a little bit of help sometimes to get the real point across. And so I've really considered adding a bridge. I don't have that ready for you, unfortunately, on day 5. But if I get it, I'll send that out as like a phase 5 part 2 or something, you know. But anyways, just so that you can hear the finished product of the song. But I feel like it needs a tag. It might need it might need to change the structure of the verses a little bit. Keep the first 4 lines the same like we have them, and then maybe add an additional 2 with a little bit different rhythm structure to lead into the chorus. So I've thought about all of those things. I haven't done anything with them because I haven't decided if I really want to do that. But again, it's the phase 3 thing. I will try to plug in some different lines. Right now I haven't even been able to come up with a weak line to put in there. So sometimes you will get stalled like that as a songwriter, and you'll feel like you need to put something in there, but you just can't figure it out. That's okay, because you're not on a deadline. The only deadline that you have is for yourself. And so if your song's not done in 5 days, don't worry about it. Just keep working on it, and eventually you'll get it to the place to where you are really comfortable with it. And then phase 5 also, after you're done evaluating the song, when you get it like you like it. Remember, phase 4 was share it with your family and friends before it's done, see if they like the concept. Well, this one is when you're going to get the really solid criticism. So once you get the song the way you like it, to where you feel like it's done, send it to people that you know who will be completely honest with you and get their honest feedback on it. And then be prepared, if it's not the greatest thing ever, to change some things and not fall so in love with your song that you can't change some things about it. That's my main point of emphasis for all of you budding songwriters out there. Don't get too prideful with your song and think that it's perfect, that you can't change something. Good example of this wasn't when I received criticism from someone else. I actually was convicted about this in my own heart, but a song that I had written, and then I was thinking about how we're supposed to always write honest songs based on, biblical truth. And so if you write anything that's not based on biblical truth, you're really just adding to the mess, and you're not helping anything. And I really want my songs to make a difference. And so I realized that a song that I had written, that I had finished, that I really, really liked the way it was, didn't want to change anything about it. It needed something because the message wasn't clear enough. The message that I was trying to get across was a biblical truth, but the way that I was talking about it sounded like a secular falsehood. So what they would call truth. It sounded very much like a secular song and that kind of message. And that's not what I was trying to convey, so I had to change something. And I hated it. And I was talking to my friend about how much I hated having to change the song. But out of that came an additional couple of lines at the ends of the verses that I ended up really, really liking, worked as a great transition into the chorus. And honestly, in retrospect, my transition to the chorus for that song wasn't as great as I thought it was, and it was still a little bit weak. And those lines not only helped me sell the message, but they really helped the song overall. So don't be afraid and don't be prideful to change your song once you feel that it's done, because you can always make it better. Now, at that same token, don't wait to make it so much better that you never release it. Get some good feedback on it and then make those changes and then be done with it. But make the changes. Be open to change, and make sure that your song is as good as it can be, not just from your perspective, but from other people's perspective. Remember, you're not the only one that's going to listen to this song. If you're writing songs professionally, lots of people are going to listen to this song. And so it doesn't make sense for you to just be your only critic and put it out there and expect other people to like exactly what you like. So get some other feedback from some people who might eventually buy your product, or would represent a buying group of your product. Get a little market research that way, and that will give you a much better idea of whether your song is ready to be distributed or whether it needs to be changed. And if it needs to be changed, it'll be that much better. So that's how to write a song in 5 days, or 5 phases. I guess it's not really literally 5 days. Don't ever try to write a song in 5 days and expect it to be any good. This song was a great exercise for me, and I was able to finish it mostly within that 4-day frame and then get to this phase. But again, phase 5, take as much time as you need. Just go ahead and get that feedback, sit on it for a little bit, come back to it, make sure that it's as good as you thought it was. So that is how to write a song in 5 days. I will be back some other time to give you an update on the song, and it won't be a full how to write a song in 5 days. It'd be a nice little update for you. So stay tuned and keep reading my blog.